All right, I am barefaced today, as you can definitely tell. That is because we are going to put on some makeup, and more specifically, I'm actually going to do a little bit, I guess, of my contour routine, mostly just because I have always talked about it when I've been doing like makeup videos, but I've never actually dedicated a whole video to it. So I thought we would do that today. What better way to start off with just a blank canvas? I don't have anything on besides SPF. I'm using one of the SPFs, so if that's why my face is kind of a little bit more shiny, it could be that. It could also be because I'm sweating inside. Why I decide to wear long sleeves also probably contributes to that. Here's the base product I guess we're gonna use. This is NATASHA DENONA. So I usually go like pretty light. I don't use a ton. Basically one dip in the actual component and I take it out and I just use everything that's on this one tiny little sponge paddle thing. I'll apply a little bit here and here. This is just getting the base of the makeup. I'm not doing the contour just yet, but I also kind of get a little bit darker on my mouth, as you can kind of tell. So I also like to conceal around there. Now we fully look a little crazy, and now I'm gonna take my makeup sponge. I've been using this for far too long. Definitely should probably get another one, but here we are. So we're gonna blend it out. I usually kind of start with the eyes. And yes, so we're just gonna use this makeup sponge and pat that in. I'll actually do one side of my face just so we can see the difference. All right, there we go. That's the right side of my face done. So you can kind of see the subtle difference, brightens it up a little bit and also evens it out. So yeah, because you can see like around my eyes are pretty dark. Now there's no way I can 100% get rid of it because like I have eyes that kind of like stick out a little bit more. So this is all like shadowing. So yeah, I definitely think I look so much better with concealer on, although the problem is it does kind of like take away a lot of like the definition in my features. So that's why we do makeup as well as the contour to kind of bring back a little bit of shape here and there. But yes, so that was just concealer. And as you can see, I used it in specific places, but I kind of just blend it like arbitrarily, like all over my face. So it kind of acts normally as just like a foundation. The good thing is that like I don't actually have any like face product around here, like on my face. So it's kind of nice because it's kind of like natural contouring a little bit because I put the product like in the middle, but then I kind of like blended it and diffused it out. That was a big beginning to this, but yes, that's basically the foundation of, well, literally, I guess, the foundation of the contour. So now we're actually gonna move on to the contour, and this is specifically for my cream contour. So this is the only cream contour product that I have. This is Out of Office Contour and Highlight Duo Pencil, and as you can see, let me see, this side is the contour side. You can't really see it that well. Here you go. Maybe on my hair? Yeah, I think you can see maybe on my hair. That's what it looks like. There we go. That's the contour product. Very gray. So it's very different from like a lot of the bronzers that you kind of see around because it doesn't have much of the orangey color or like the warmth, but this one has a lot more cooler tone. So that's the contour. And then on this side is the highlight. I'll put that next to each other. So there's a highlight. So I'm probably gonna put maybe like a TikTok or a video actually showing you what, I guess, essentially what I'm gonna follow. It might not be exactly the same just because I've watched so many different ones and I'm not gonna show you like every single one, but I've kind of looked at so many variations of them, subtle variations, but essentially I've kind of, you know, honed in on a technique that works for me. Now for my Asian folk out there, one thing that is known as like a beauty standard is to have a high nose bridge. Now here is the nose bridge, kind of like right between your eyes, and people want it to be higher. So what that means is actually like protruding a little bit, like where it sticks out, because a lot of people, a lot of Asians, myself included, have very flat nose bridges where we just don't have much like going on here. How I'm gonna do this first part of the contour is I'm actually going to try to contour to make it look like my nose is slightly protruding a little bit. So using the shadow side, using the dark contour side, we're actually gonna go right here, where I guess if your nose was sticking out here would actually start to have a shade. So I'm actually going to put a little dot here, but I'm gonna drag it and kind of curve it closer to the eyebrow, to like the start of the eyebrow. So we're gonna curve it a little bit like that. And then from here, you're actually gonna curve it again out. So you're essentially creating a little C shape. There we go. And now I'm gonna do the exact same thing. I'm gonna try to make it as symmetrical as I can. It doesn't really matter that much, but I'm gonna try. Looks a little interesting. Looks like I'm starting to like make myself into like a raccoon or something. But Stick with me. Okay, so now we are gonna actually contour this little part of the nose, the ball of the nose. So a lot of people actually wanna make it more like, making it seem like it's like a little upturned a little bit. So I'm going to draw a little diamond. So I'm gonna start here on the bottom of my nose and draw it towards like the middle of my nostrils in a downwards like diagonal shape. And then we're gonna do it on the top in the other way. So essentially we're creating, you can call it maybe a diamond. You can call it maybe like, I don't know, like a weird U shape. It's just kind of like that. Or you can give it a little bit more angle. And then, so I actually have a quite short nose. So some people actually like to draw like a line up here, and that's to give like I guess the idea of a more upturned nose. But my nose, I think, is already a little bit more upturned. Like you can kind of see, if my resting face, you can see a little bit more of my nostrils. And yeah, I think just in general, my nose is slightly like more ski slope shaped. There we go. But here I'm going to try to make, with whatever little space I have right there, I'm going to try to make my nose look pretty straight. Although I would say my nose is actually pretty straight, but I like to do it just in case. I'm drawing 2 parallel lines right down the side of my nose, there and there. All right, nose is cut, shaped, there we go. I've also seen some people also contour the nostrils. I'm not sure if I can see a super big difference with this, but we'll try it and you can let me know. So I'm gonna shade the nostrils a little bit. I'm not as familiar with contouring like the outside perimeter of my face, so don't follow me specifically for that, I guess. But I have seen some people do like right here, where they'll actually connect like the outside corner of their eye to their eyebrow, if they have hair all the way out there. And then some people actually contour here and here, but to be honest, I'm a little bit scared of that. I'm not as familiar with that. Oh, also I forgot, you can actually contour like around here. It's very common, especially in my, like the Chinese TikToks that I watch. But a lot of people like to make this like a little bit more teenier, like between the nose and the mouth, like to make it a little closer. Not super close, but a little bit closer. I actually already have, I think it's already pretty proportional, like in terms of how close it is, but you can actually highlight a little bit more or contour that area. But you can see I actually already have like naturally like a little bit of highlighting and contouring going on, but we can do it just in case. So you can contour, you can do that with your mouth, and then you can draw like a little bit like right here. If I must be honest, I'm not exactly sure what it does, but I have seen girls do that. Well, they'll just draw a little bit down there, and they can draw a little bit like up here. Something like that. So I think a little bit, you can kind of see how they're giving a little bit of shape to the lips now, the beginning of the lips or the top of the lips. Okay, so that's what all I'm gonna do with the contour side. Now, usually I would actually blend it out right now and then do the highlighting secondary, but for this, we're actually just gonna do the highlighting together and then we'll blend it separately. Okay, so with this, now we have the shape of our nose laid out. So now we actually can see where the high points are, like, right? We can go right here, and then we can go right here on the nose bridge. And like I said, usually on Asian faces, they're a little bit more sunken in, so you can kind of estimate where you want it to come forward, where you want it to go back. So let's make the nose one a little bit brighter. Now I did make my nose contour like pretty close together. Usually I make it a little bit wider apart, so I can actually do a horizontal line. But here, with what I've done, I actually don't have much room to make it a horizontal line, but that's fine. I don't really mind. Okay, so another thing is that you can get the inner corner of the eyes. So now we did do that C, but still you can see that there's a little bit of skin in between the beginning of your eye as well as the C on the contour. So we're gonna highlight that little piece in between. And I get usually pretty messy. It's not anything nice. Okay, there we go. Now we're not, it's not like we're trying to make it perfect or anything, but you get the idea of like where you want the highlight and contour to go. This is basically it. Like I said, I'm only contouring the nose right now. I haven't really tried to contour like the sides of my face yet. So yeah, maybe once I actually master that, then I'll come back. I just have one of the contour nose brushes that I own, and I am just going to start with the contour side. So I usually start with the C one, the ones around my eyes, and I hold it, well, I guess you can see the shape of it. So it's, how would you describe that shape? It's a little bit slanted, but it's a little bit, you know, thicker. It's not super skinny or anything. So it's very fluffy though. So the bristles, they move quite a lot. Like you can easily just move the bristles. So I'm gonna take the brush, no angle, just straight on, and I'm going to draw it like with a little C and follow that shape of the bone that you already have, even if it's shallow or not. Yes, there we go. And we're making sure not to hit any of the highlight side. So just in that little narrow canal where the contour is. And we're putting the brush in the same direction as how we put the contour. Now, like I said, I have a kind of a smaller nose, so it's a little bit difficult for me to fit like contour product as well as brushes in like that area, but we do what we can. So there we go. Now that is blended out a little bit. And then I'm going to hit the ball of my nose, so super lightly. This brush might be a little bit large for the size of my nose, but as long as we move kind of slowly and very precisely, I think it can work. It's not blended out fully. Okay, so we're just gonna do the parallel lines now. I'm gonna move up and down, here and here. I'm not gonna blend it away entirely. And then I also forgot about the sides of my nose. So the nostril area. Okay, and then taking right here, what is this called? I wanna say it's like a pharyngium or something like that. I don't know, pharyngium? We're gonna do that again with our mouth. I don't know what that face is called. And we're gonna get that contour. And then also that slight contour above the lip. We're gonna make sure, try not to blend that away, but soften the edges, I guess. And then we have here where I'm just gonna put my brush like directly on that line and then kind of drag it into my eye, like closer to the center of my face. Now, all we should be left now is the highlighting section. So because the highlighting section is like very precise, I have a teeny tiny little brush, super fine. Look at that little tiny tip. And then we're just going to start blending. Like I said, this part is a little smaller than I usually make it. Usually I have a little bit more space between the contour and the highlight, but I'm sticking with a very fine line here. All right, so I'm not gonna blend that away completely. And then we're gonna blend here. Gonna get that nose bridge. Yeah, all this is meant to give the nose a little bit more shape, because after you put the foundation on and concealer on, your face can kind of lose its shape, look a little bit flat. And so now we're adding a little bit of more natural shaping. Okay, there we go. Look at that. I think that looks a lot better. Okay, and then we have the inner corners. So what I do, I don't know, no one ever taught me this part because people don't care about the blending out application part, but how I do it is I hold my brush like really far back, and then where it is, I just put my brush directly on it, and then just kind of follow my eye a little bit. Like follow the crease of my eye, or like the natural just shape. Like just let your natural eye guide where the brush goes. And I'm just kind of pulling it into the top of the lid. There we go. I'm actually gonna do this side too. So I cross my arm basically around my face because I'm right-handed. Gonna do the same thing, put my brush into the product and just kind of drag it out. So this way I'm kind of maintaining the like intensity of the like highlight on the inner corner of my eye. Now we have the bottom part. So there's still a little bit of harshness, like harsh lines from the product. So what I'm gonna do is, funny enough, so a lot of people do the agiosel. Now this is cool because this is actually doing the agiosel kind of for me. I mean, already I kind of have shadowing, but this is kind of nice because I can do the highlight now. So I take the brush, similar thing how I did it on top and then just dragged it. I'm gonna put the brush on the inner corner and I'm gonna brush it like on the, like right below the like eye line, because that can like highlight a little bit of that like puffy skin area. Actually, I kind of blended most of the product on the top, so I don't have much left for the bottom, but whatever, you kind of get the drift. Anyways, if you have a little bit of harshness here, you can still kind of dab it around, but try to keep it like concentrated in this one area. So that is it. That is the nose contour. Now, another thing that I do usually, because I feel like the brushes maybe are a little bit, how should I say it? The brushes maybe not blending or melding the product as nicely. So what I have right here is a brush, not a brush. What is this? Just a makeup sponge. So I showed this one that I have for my concealer. Now I got a mini one. This is actually to kind of melt the two products together. I know that when we were blending out, I was saying that you kind of don't want to mix the two, but here is actually where you do kind of want to mix the two to make sure that there's no harsh lines, to kind of give a more seamless blend. But the thing is, don't go too hard on it. Otherwise, all the hard work that you did with the contouring and the highlighting will be for naught. So just to make sure that there's no harsh lines, and like it might look good on camera, but like probably if somebody saw me in real life, they can see like definitely that there's something going on. There's some brightness here, there's some darkness here. So I'm gonna just on the seams, you can go kind of anywhere really, but you wanna blend it super lightly. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so super happy. I've been loving contouring recently. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully it made sense. I am not a teacher. I am not a makeup artist or something. I didn't go to makeup school. This is just some stuff I like acquired by watching a million Chinese TikToks. So yes, I'm actually going to finally put on powder because I've been dying for some powder because I think I'm getting kind of oily. Okay, so I have my powder here and I'm just going to powder my face. Okay, there we have it. Makeup all set. It just went kind of light, I guess, with the makeup. I didn't really do a whole bunch. Hopefully you enjoyed. I know it's gonna be a long video. I've talked a lot, so hopefully I can cut it down. So with that said, thank you so much for watching. Usually at the end of these videos, I'll leave like a playlist or a recommended video that I think that you should watch. Whether you do or not is up to you know, you and your time. But yeah, again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in another one.